Hello, everyone. It's Rolando with Information Starts Here, and I am being honored by our guest, Denisha.
Yes.
And she is with the newly renamed IE Community Foundation. I had to think about that for a second. That's okay.
I know, it's a tongue twister. Inland Empire Community Foundation.
And formerly known as
the Community Foundation. So we just went through this big rebranding, surveys, talking to community board members, all that great stuff. We have our new CEO, Michelle Decker, who came on board about a couple years ago. And so she's wanting to see big things that happened or what's going on in the community. And so one of the things was kind of solidifying who we are as a community foundation and letting our name be known as what we do. A lot of times we would have to say we're the community foundation serving Riverside and San Bernardino. And now with this name of Inland Empire Community Foundation, it says it all. We serve the Inland Empire, and that's who we are and what we do. We're giving growth.
I think it's something in the water because we've actually renamed ourselves this year as the Inland Empire Real Estate Team.
There we go. There it is. And for the longest time, I think people were kind of shying away from the IE or Inland Empire because it had such a
great sound.
Exactly. And so, but now we are reclaiming it.
Yeah.
Inland Empire is reclaiming that name, and it's good that comes with that name, and so much.
I think it makes everything a little bit more inclusive.
Absolutely.
And we're putting our arms and embracing all of the communities that and of course San Bernardino, which is the center of it.
Absolutely.
And so we're just that name just really makes it more inclusive of everyone together, because whenever we're doing something, we do it together.
Yes.
So I brought you on the show because I met you through Darcy.
Yes.
And she was really telling us a little bit at our Kiwanis meeting in regards to a program that I thought was, wow, this is something that I think if more people can know about it, they will definitely sign up. And that's the
Youth Grantmakers program.
Yeah.
And it is a youth philanthropy program geared for high school students. And we take them on this 9-month journey through the world of philanthropy, teaching them about nonprofit 101, community service, giving back, grant making opportunities. They learn how to read grants. What's pretty amazing about this program is these high school students are in charge of giving out monies, and it's not monopoly money. It's real money, which is approved by a board, $10,000.
$10,000.
$10,000 they get to give away individually to nonprofits that apply to our grant opportunities. And so they read through grants, they look at programming, they look at budget, they see what the impact would make with the particular programs. And so they have to decide. In some of our programs, we have 4 programs. We have one in San Bernardino, Riverside, Coachella Valley, and we have a Native Youth program with our Pechanga tribe. And so each of these programs are giving grants. We send out a referral for proposals, and however many grants we receive, they go through each and every one of them, and they decide which one, depending on the 10,000 that we have, who we can give to. There's a max giving of $2,500 per grant that we can give out that would total up to the 10,000.
Okay.
So we may give out 5 grants that total $2,500 each. So that would total the 10,000.
Right. Okay.
So, or they have the opportunity to say maybe they don't want to fully fund a grant. They want to use some of that money to maybe fund another grant, or they want to fund a portion of that grant and give the remainder to another grant. So maybe we're potentially funding 6 grants or 7 grants, depending on how they want to divvy out that $10,000. But they make those decisions, those determinations. It's all governed by them. They have to come to a consensus. And it's pretty neat how the process works because they take it serious.
Right. So what's the first step? Like, if someone's watching us and they want to get involved, at what age or in school does this start? How does it?
Sure. So we recruit freshmen through juniors, high school students within the 2-county region. And so we work with the school districts within Riverside, San Bernardino, Coachella Valley, and they can reach out to me personally through the Inland Empire Community Foundation. Okay. And I can give my tag here in a few minutes. But some of the students, it's through word of mouth, where some of these students who have friends that they know of that want to participate because they hear about the awesome things that they're doing. So It's word of mouth. Our counselors who have really good connections with the program. They are heavy with recruiting and assisting administration, school administration, parents, and friends. So we pretty much take all applicants that are interested. It is an application process. Right. They are reviewed and then selected.
Now that process is starting when?
So that process has already started for our 2020-2021 cohort. So we started that back, actually 2019-2020 cohort, I'm sorry. So that started back in September of last year.
Right.
So we go the full 9 months and we end in June. We have a little summer hiatus and then we pick back up again in September. So for 2020, we will start recruiting again August. So we have a little time after we end this session for 2019-2020. We'll end this and then we'll have a summer break. And then, like I said, by August, we'll start recruiting and start up again in September.
So if someone's listening, to start taking the application, you're submitting the application.
They
now?
Can start submitting applications now. We'll put them on hold.
Okay.
Because again, we're already started in the session, but we can take them as soon as now. And then by the time we start our open recruitment, the applications will already be here.
Okay.
And we can take those into consideration. And then, like I said, we'll look through the applications. We're not looking for the greatest of the greatest, although that's great. And we do have them. And I think all of them are great and amazing, but you don't have to be the stellar student, the 5.0. You know, we have a range of students within as far as academics, where they're at. Some students are in public high school, private high school, homeschooled.
Okay.
We have the whole gamut from every culture, background. It's just a beautiful thing to see a mixture of all these students in one room.
What in particular? I know there's a lot of applications that you're reviewing. So what in particular are you looking for, or just something that they've done before, or just?
It's to see if they have had some community service experience or maybe leadership experience. If they're presidents of the ASB or secretaries, or they're over their newspaper program, that's great because that shows they're involved.
Okay.
And so we like to see that involvement, or if they've participated in Big Brothers Big Sisters, or they help out at their church babysitting, childcare, whatever the case may be, just an initial initiative that they want to help or they're helpful. Not to say all of them have to be. Again, like I said, we're not looking for that, because within that program they'll learn to develop that love for giving back and wanting to do more for their community. But if they have a little bit of experience, that's great. We don't like to see our kids overloaded too. A lot of them are participating in sports and after school programs and so forth, and so it can be too much. And all I'm requiring is just one Sunday out of the month for 3 hours for 9 months, but sometimes that can even be a bit too much for some of our kids. So I try to look at some of the kids who can use just the extra little push of maybe exposing them to this program and not adding it to be a burden. So I do look at their involvement, their extracurricular activities involvements, to see if they're too heavy, too busy. If that is the case, then I'll kind of, push those along and maybe relook at again if I don't have enough students to fill slots. Okay, so currently you have how many students in San Bernardino? Currently in San Bernardino, I have about 25 students in the San Bernardino program. In my Riverside program, I have about 50. In my Coachella Valley program, I have about 27. And in my Native Youth program, I call them my small but mighty program. It's 6 of them. Great. But they do great work too. So it's no disrespect to them. They're amazing as well. What types of projects have actually come from these? I mean, what kind of, decisions have you guys reached with some of the projects? Sure. So with our grant making process, we have granted out, and we just celebrated 10 years last year in 2019. So it was a big celebration, showcasing all the accomplishments the programs has made. And we have given out over $300,000 back into the community with a combination of all programs together. So that's a big feat and a big encouragement to our young people to say that they are making a difference. So I would say our grant making opportunity is one of the biggest projects that we do have, and that the young people look forward to, because they're able to make that change and difference and give them that voice to say that, hey, we helped this nonprofit because they were youth that were in need of this program. And so we've given to Big Brothers Big Sisters, we've given to the American Red Cross, we've given to oh my goodness, Highlander Boxing Club. We've given to,
Yeah. We actually did an event with them.
Oh, see, there we go.
Awesome.
Yes. So, Project Fighting Chance.
And I act Ian Franklin.
Yes.
So
Ian,
I just
sir.
I was there yesterday at the gym because we do a workshop in the front part of the community center there. So and I know we're bringing him on too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We love Mr. Franklin, the work that they're doing. We were able to do, one of the things we do is site visits to our past grantees who have been awarded funds, just to check up on the nonprofit, see how they're doing and where our funds were used. And so we were able to go visit Project Fighting Chance last year, and the kids just fell in love because you're walking into this big room with this huge, like, legit size boxing ring, and the kids are going at it. And then just the after school program they have with the learning and the curriculum and the tutoring and the lessons that they provided. They have a music program, an arts program too. So it's just super cool what he's doing and the impact he's making on young people's lives. So it's programs like that that we're able to help and assist to move forward and continue to make an impact for young people.
So and that's another conversation I'll have with him when I see him again.
Please plug him. Please plug us with him. Yes.
So is there anything else that is there anything that your guys in need of participation of, or feedback, or
absolutely? We would love just to have more students involved at the end of the day. Like I said, I have a hard time saying no. So like I said previously, I've got 50 students in one program, and it's supposed to be 30 or so, but I love them so much, and they're just amazing. And so I would love to see all students have an opportunity.
How did you get started in the position that you're in?
Oh boy. Funny story. I previously have background as a case manager, social work degree, and so did 11 years at the Inland Regional Center working with families with developmentally challenged young people, children. I worked in our school age unit 0 to 3, or 3 to 16, I'm sorry. And that was great work, but it got to be a little bit much, emotionally attaching, kind of hard at times. And so I thought, okay, I think I need a break, so I took a hiatus, or so to speak, and my family was like, what are you doing? But I did it anyway because it was just too much. And so I was perusing the paper because I thought, okay, I could only watch Maury so much in the mornings, who's your daddy? And so I decided, let me get a job. And so I saw the Community Foundation had a temporary, or actually a receptionist position open. And I applied because I was like, I can do reception. No shade to receptionists, but it's easy peasy. I can answer phones, greet people. And so I applied, originally didn't get the job, but then they called me back to come in as a part-time intern or temporary job. And so did that for a few months while the young lady I was replacing was on maternity leave. She came back, and so they said, oh, we only can keep you for another month or so. And I was like, okay, no problem. And then she started missing her babies and decided she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So she ended up leaving, and I was able to come on full-time there with the Community Foundation at the time. And I started slowly working in our programs department, and then our senior vice president of grants to community impact, Sia Kudimont, she was running the program. And so eventually she kind of passed the baton over to me. And I've been doing this now, working with the program specifically, for about 4 years.
Thank you.
So it's been a great journey. I love it.
That's what I say. You just never know the opportunities.
No.
You do things because a lot of times people say, well, I hate doing what I do, or I hate. But I mean, if you have a different mindset and you go into somewhere where you just say, you know what, I'm just going to do this because.
Yes.
You just don't know where it's going to take you.
I had no clue where answering a phone could lead me to facilitating hundreds of kids, at one time.
And helping them to help give back.
Yes, and that's the main thing, a lot of times they want to do but don't know how to do, or they want to have a voice but, you're too young or you can't. Well, this program gives them that opportunity to do just that. Make an impact in their community and give back. So
beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I know it just seems like a few minutes, but time goes by fast.
It does, and it's all good.
I love the colors.
Thank you.
We had the opportunity to share some of the information at our last event.
Yes.
With the human trafficking walk.
Awesome.
Actually, we designed little gift bags with the giveaways that you guys give. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Again, thank you for listening in, and we'll post the information in regards to how to contact Denisha.
Yes.
And or the website, and we'll go from there to get you connected, to get the word out, to help anybody that you know in high school years
Yes, absolutely.
that's interested in giving back to the community,
Yes.
and they can say, it's like saying, here, it's a check for $10,000,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
you gotta figure out how you're gonna give that money
Right.
back to the community.
And it's a great resume builder for your college applications.
Yeah.
Slight plug.
Yeah. So thanks again for watching. Thanks again for liking us on Facebook.
Yes.
Thanks for subscribing on YouTube. So we always put our hand up like this, like that. And then with your little finger there, you're going to point down like, there you go. So you're going to hit the click button. You're going to click on
Click it.
to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
And then also a big shout out and a big thanks to Realty One Group in San Bernardino for providing these resources here to get the word out and help the community. So again, thank you all, and we'll see you soon.